Good evening. Welcome to Atlanta Magic Night. I'm Mark Johnson, co-producer of Atlanta Magic Night, along with Joe Turner, who you'll meet in a minute. We welcome you to the Red Light Cafe. The bar is open, the food is good, so please take advantage of that. We had our first Atlanta Magic Night performance in April of 2014. And we've been running continuously since then with a little break for a disease. But we're seriously glad you're here tonight, and I think you're going to enjoy the show. Our first performer is a dear friend. He has performed all over the world, cruise ships, television, conventions, trade shows, you name it, he's been there. I'm proud of him because I think he's one of the great magicians. He was three-time Atlanta Magician of the Year. He's the past president of the International Brotherhood of Magicians internationally. And he's a great buddy. So let's give a big warm welcome to Joe M. Turner.
Thank you. All right. Hey, yeah, come on in. Welcome. My name's Joe. Can you hear me through the? Is it okay if I take? In fact, let's try something. As long as we're here, I guess you can tell there's a whole bunch of cards on my mask. Your name again? Clarissa. Just name out loud any card in a deck of cards, but not one that you see here. So just name a random card. I'm sorry? Is there any way that I could have known you were going to say the six of clubs? You're not going to believe this. In the mask, there's one card. And of all the cards it could be, it's a wild card. It's the Joker. That's pretty good. Actually, that's just a joke. This is magic when it actually changes into the yeah. Good night. Thanks for. Oh no, we have to do more. All right. So my name's Joe Turner. It's a privilege to be back on stage here at the Red Light Cafe, home of great music and comedy and burlesque and variety, and tonight magic. We're so proud this is our home. And for the next 35 minutes or so, it's going to be my honor to entertain you by sharing with you a number of the interesting skills that basically kept me from dating in high school. So this is going to be kind of fun for y'all and sort of a tragic flashback for me. You know, because I mean, look, I'm just saying, I had a hard time as a kid. You know, I look like Pee Wee Herman even today. And when I was a kid, I was so naive and innocent. You know, the girls were like, "You make Rick Astley look like Tom Selleck." You know, I make Matthew Broderick look like Mr. T. That's how naive I am. But at any rate, so I had that, and I had piano lessons and magic and band. I had all the nerdy stuff going for me. But thankfully, I never went to a Star Trek convention, or I might never have gotten legally wed. Legally wed. I'm just trying out some new material. Okay, so when I was a kid, I was learning to do some magic, and the books all said that you should start by taking some money from mom or dad's, purse or wallet or something, and you should start by developing some manual dexterity, and you would put the coin on your hand and see if you could open and close your hand without dropping the coin. And that was just a building block of, developing some balance and isolating the muscles in your hand. Then the book said if you tried to balance it on one finger and lift the next finger and pull it over, it would flop completely over like that. And you would do it again and again and see if you could make it go all the way across your hand like that. And the book said if you did that every day for like 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, then it would get a little bit smoother and a little bit faster. And the book said if you did it long enough, people would clap. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Only 32 minutes to go. No, I'm just kidding. My friends were like you. They were like, that's kind of cool, but that's not really magic. That's more like just juggling, really. It's dexterity, and it's interesting. But magic is when things disappear, and it's like if things go from one place and they come out somewhere else. That starts to be magic. I'll do it again for those who missed it. You put it in that elbow, and it comes out the other side. That's magic. My friends were like you, Greg. They were like, sleight of hand. Obviously, you're hiding the coin somehow in your fingers, concealing it behind, in the crevices of your hand. And so maybe it goes up your sleeve, but whatever the case is, obviously the coin isn't vanishing. If only you had some kind of barrier over your hand, like made of titanium or steel or silk, so that when the coin went into your hand, we would know it wasn't going anywhere. So if it disappeared, we would know it was really magic. Thank you very much. They always want to know how it got in my shoe, too. That's kind of cool. Now, I will say, even though magic didn't really get me a lot of dates in high school, by the time I got to college, magic did pay off a little bit. Thank you very much. Mike is like, I've seen that 1,000 times. Very good. So, as long as we have a bottle and we have an audience, it seems like maybe I could use this to show you something interesting. I need to borrow someone who might be willing to come up on stage and help me just for a moment. Is there anyone who's like eager to do that? The people who are walking in are like, nope, not even gonna, forget it. I'm going straight to the other. What's your name, sir? Cesar? Cesar, could I ask you to help me just for a moment, please, and thank you? Give him a round of applause. Come on up, and I'm going to redress here. If you'll just stand right over to my left. We'll tuck this back in. Excellent. Cesar, oh gosh, you look bigger now that you got up here. You kind of, you were working out while you were waiting, just in case. Very good. Well, I'm going to try some. Do you mind if I touch your torso right here just to see? Just right a little bit lower. I'm not going to do anything. So, okay. I think this might work. If you'll just hold on to the make sure that bottle is solid. I did bring something for us to use to cover it up. So I'll take that, and let's see if we can wrap it up with a. This is from the Cobb Business Journal. It's not much, but wrap it around so you can. I'm trying to make sure you can keep your eye on it at all times. So there it is. And if you'll just stand facing forward, you can feel that right there, right? You can feel that? All right. We're going to try to do an illusion. This may work in slow motion. If I tap that there, you guys can hear how solid that is. Have you ever done an illusion on stage before?
Never.
We're going to try it. Watch carefully. 1, 2, 3. Right through the back. Hey, you can go have a seat. Are you feeling okay?
A little bit, yes.
You know, just like every beer in the place, it goes right through you. So the restrooms are in the back, and there's each one. Thank you for getting them. We do have time for a card trick. Time is marching on, but we will do a card trick. Since there's all of you, so many of you, and just one of me, I'm going to try to use as many of you as I can in this single card trick. I love cards. About 150 years ago, maybe more than that now, 170 years ago, in the middle part of Europe, there was a man named Johann Hofzinser. And Hofzinser created many of the sleight of hand techniques that are still in use by performers all over the world, even to this day. By day, he worked in the Austro-Hungarian Empire as a finance minister, which I don't even know. By night, he was a sleight of hand guy. By day, he works with the money. I don't know what he's doing, but he did very well for himself over the years, and all the books about his life cost a lot of money, so maybe he was onto something. But he was well known for saying in German, but he said in English, it's cards are the poetry of magic. And by this he meant that with these simple pieces of paper this finite set of sounds or syllables. Put together with artistry and creativity, one can create nearly an infinite number of experiences, right? Just like poetry. And so I'd like to express myself by creating some experiences for all of us. We'll use these cards, and all of you, I'll drop the cards from one hand to the other like this. Somewhere in the cascade, I'll ask someone to call stop. For example, what's your name? Mike and Gal. Mike and Gal. So let me start with Gal and work to Mike, and then I'm going to work my way back around. And we aren't going to use everybody, but I'm going to use several people. So Gal, please say stop anywhere. That'll be your card. Please remember that. I'm going to come back to you in a moment. If you forget the card, this is a colossal waste of time for everyone. So I'm just saying, if you need to make a note on your phone or something like that, that'll be fine. If you want to write it down, did you see the card? So we've got backup here just in case. I was in management consulting for a number of years before I went into magic. We would call this a mission-critical task in business parlance. So anyone in this room could learn to have a card selected and find it from a deck, but I want to raise the stakes. Let's go to, you said Mike? Mike, say stop anywhere. Stop. That'll be your card. Got it? So now it's 2 cards, twice as hard as a regular card trick. But we'll go further than that. I see a lady sitting next to the wall. What's your name? Anne, with the E or without the E? Without the E. I am Joe with the E. Just to help us understand. Please say stop anywhere. That'll be your card. You can see it from there? Good for you. These are progressives. It's my first set of prescription eyewear I've ever had. Honest to God, I got them yesterday. So if I look like I'm agreeing with you, I'm not. I'm just trying to find you. Let's see. So that's 1, 2, 3. Let's go to the gentleman against the wall. Please say stop anywhere. Stop. That'll be your card, sir. Got it? Yes, sir. And what's your name? Bruce. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go to this side. How about the lady who politely applauded earlier? Please say stop anywhere. Stop. That'll be your card. You can see it? Yeah. I'm envious. What's your name?
My name's Tierney.
Tierney? Yes. Nice to meet you. I'm Joe. Let's do a couple more. How about, it was Mark right here. I can see Mark say stop anywhere. That'll be your card. And last but not least, how about Nobi? Nobi, please say stop anywhere. So 7 cards, 7 times as hard as a regular card trick. I will find all 7 of these cards in amazing and magical ways, working this entire audience into an emotional frenzy. You thought it was just a card trick, but it could be a life-changing experience, Clarissa. We'll see how it goes. I know you have faith in me, or you have faith in that margarita, and that will transfer to me. I'm sure it'll be fine. At this point, a lot of people say, well, the magicians always just put the cards on the top of the deck so they know where they are. Nobody stopped at the very, very top of the deck. You can see nobody's card is in the top 6 or 7 cards. And some people think I have all the cards at the bottom, and I'm just dealing them off the bottom like a cheating gambler. Nobody's card is at the very, very bottom. I'm not a cheating gambler. I mean, I am going to cheat, just not like that. I have other ways. Some people think I stuck 7 fingers along the sides of the cards to remember, like to keep a little spot where each one was, but they're all in different places. And I honestly don't know their positions at this point, but we'll attempt to find them starting with Nobi. Watch carefully. All I have to do is give the cards a little shake, a little wave. It's just graceful. And there it goes. One card just turned face forward. One card just turned face forward toward the audience. Not that one. I didn't say it would be that one. I just said one of them inside the pack turned face forward. And yes, one of them turned face forward. What was your card? Say it. 5 of diamonds? Correct. I'm sensing some skepticism. Well, I wouldn't lie to you for anything. There is one card face up right in the middle of the deck. It is the 5 of diamonds. Thank you. Thank you. No, please keep your seats. Jill and Jerry, thank you. Just relax, ladies. All right, that brings me back to Mark. Mark, what was your card? Now, I keep an emergency card in my pocket just in the off chance that somebody picks the 2 of clubs, which is the same card that Tierney had was the 2 of clubs as well? No. Mark, you had the two of clubs, but you had the Queen of Hearts. There's people arguing. King of Diamonds? Was it the king or the queen? We can argue about this. Was it the queen or the king? But you know what? I want you to feel comfortable about this. So all we have to do is do a little. This operation is a lot easier to get than it used to be. There it is, the Queen of Diamonds. Very good. Of course, if that's the Queen of Diamonds, it raises a very interesting question, which is how Mark's two of clubs got back in my pocket while you were watching me. That part I don't understand. Let's use the 5 and the 2 together to find, let's see, how many cards was that? 1, 2, 3. Let's go to, it's Bruce. Did you have the 5 or the 2? I had a 5. Not the 5 of diamonds, and not the 2 of clubs. What was your card? 5 of clubs. Well, then together they make up your card. But well, in Management Consultant, we would just declare victory right there. I'll tell you that. But we'll take the 5 of clubs invisibly out of the deck. It flies through the air. And using these as if they were a pair of tweezers, I can grab the card out of the air, and you can see there's the 5 of clubs. Thank you. You know, it's very polite. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it. But it's not quite the emotional frenzy that I had hoped for. So here's what I propose. For the last 3 cards, the 3 remaining cards, instead of a polite clap after each one, we will abstain. We will sit on our hands and let the pressure build as it does. And if we get all 3 of them correct, perhaps at the end there will be an explosion of magical pleasure and joy, and we will find all of the magical emotional frenzy. So that brings me to Anne. What was your card, Anne? Let's just try the 8 of diamonds. Watch my leg. 8 of diamonds. There's the 8 of diamonds. I know, hold it. Now you want to clap, don't you? Now it's like the social pressure. So that brings me to Mike. What was your card? Another 8. 8 of clubs. The 8 of clubs, very good. And don't tell me yours, gal. She's been thinking of hers longer than anyone else in the room, so that means that it has seared itself into her mind. So in your mind's eye, just imagine the card floating in space between us. I'll attempt to grasp it out of the air. The image is coming through the mists of the mind. Are you buying any of this? Are you getting it? It's I see it. It's a rectangular card. Is that correct? Yes. Jerry, I told you I was a management consultant. We start by observing the obvious. That'll be $75,000. I do think it's a black card. Is it correct that it's a black card? And I think it's the pointy kind, the spade kind. So if you'll watch carefully, left-handed, without looking, we'll cut to 1 card and 1 card only, which flies through the air and lands in my other hand. That was pretty cool. I caught it. It's going to be a good night. I caught the card. We know. So I'm not even going to look at the card. For the first time, gal, what was the card you were thinking of? What was it? 10 of spades? I won't look at it. I'll just show it to the audience, and I'll know if I got it right from the emotional frenzy. So it's up to you. Let's see how we did. Did we get... Please put your shirt back on, ma'am. That's very good. Let's put all of the card tricks away and move on. My time is flying by. I'd like to shift gears a little bit. You heard in my introduction that I've had the opportunity to travel here and there around the world, around the country over the years. And for those of you who are of a certain age, many of you are younger than I. Some of you are seasoned as I am. And in those days, we didn't have Google Maps. When you got to a city that you didn't know, if you were there for a project or a visit, you didn't have a phone to Google up the maps. You would stop in a place called Walden Books, or possibly Barnes & Noble, or even just like the airport bookstore. And you would buy a little street guide for the specific city that you were in. I've got some. And this would, like, here's Boston and here's London. And what this would do is that it had the whole metro area broken up into individual maps. And then at the back was an index of the streets so that you could look up the street you were on. It would tell you what page and then what quadrant, and that's how you would get to places. And you would keep these in your bag or your car or whatever, and you just pick the one that you needed. It's a lot easier now with just the phone, but I thought it would be fun to review. So I've got two editions. One is, it's in English, but it's in English. It's the London one. It's the Geographer Books edition, and this is more of a tourist guide for Boston. How many have been to Boston? Almost everybody's been to Boston. How about London? Most people. That's good. So here's what we'll do. I'm going to ask Clarissa, because you're on the front. Would you like to visit London or Boston today? She's straight for London. No question. Very good. We'll take London. And why don't we just save time and we'll save Boston for another night? Does that seem fair? Very good. Let's set this aside. Excellent. All right. Let's start like this. We'll do it like we did with the cards. I'm just going to riffle through and just say stop anywhere. Now look at the first street on the page. Don't say it out loud. Have you got it? Yes. Okay, hold on. So she's thinking of a random street somewhere in the city of London, which is kind of a misnomer because the city of London specifically is just like a neighborhood in London, in Greater London. But we'll go with Metro London. So just think of the city that you're in, and I'm going to try to get a sense of think of it, don't say it out loud, just visualize like the street sign. And in London, the street signs are on the walls of the buildings. They're built into the wall. Look at me. Oh, very good. I do think that it's 2 syllables, and it sounds sort of like, did anybody go to Baylor University? Anybody go to Baylor? It sounds like Baylor, but it's not Baylor. But does it sound sort of like Baylor in your head? Don't say it out loud. Just, I'm getting the, like Naylor Street. Let's see if we can zoom in a little further. You can pick any street. Open to any map. Any map anywhere in any neighborhood in all of London. Move your finger around, stop on any street, big or small, and look at the name of the street and remember that name. Remember that name. It has to be locked into your head. Don't say it, don't mouth it, just remember it. Look at how it's spelled, think about how it sounds, so the street name is in your mind, and close the book. I don't think I could be any more fair than that. I think so. Did you both see it? Did you both see the street? So you're thinking of the street? Okay. In your mind, picture the first letter of the street, the name of the street. All right. I've made my best guess. For the first time, what's the first letter? K? The first letter of the first word. Yeah. I'm sorry? This isn't going as planned. So we got a little confused. Think of the last letter. Don't say it. try this with some more people in a minute. Think of the last letter. Don't say it. Okay, now I'm feeling. This is really, is it another N? You're thinking of another, I felt like you're getting an N twice. You're thinking of the letter N. Don't say it out loud just yet. What is the name of the street? Okay. Let's try something easier. Let's try something a little less complicated because there's so many distractions on the map, so many little nooks and crannies. Maybe we got a little confused in the. So I want you to think. Can you remember the name of the first boy that you ever had a crush on when you were a little girl? So now we've got an emotional connection. Fair enough? You've got this kid's name. Okay? I want you to take this business card and just write that person's name down so you don't forget it and you actually see it. But print it. So if I were like a handwriting analyst, I wouldn't be able to tell. Okay? You'll do that. Maybe there's someone else in the room. What's your name? Brianne. Do you remember the name of the first little boy maybe when you were growing up that you had maybe a little crush on, a little puppy love going on? I want you to take this and write that person's name down. And let's get someone else. How about you? You're looking, what's your name? Kim? Gina. Do you remember the name of the first little boy that maybe at school or church or across the street or something that you had a little something, just a little, idea? I'm going to let you write that person's name down. All right, so this is going to be fail-safe, foolproof, because not only is this something you're already familiar with, but you've got a little emotional connection to this. So if you will, once you've printed that person's name on your card, just the first name is enough, I want you to take the card and fold it with the person's name inside. So fold it with the person's name inside. Got it? And now, take that and fold it again. So it's folded into quarters. Excellent. You'll just drop that inside my pocket, and I'll take the pen. Thank you. If you'll do the same, drop it in the pocket, and I'll take the pen. Please drop it in the pocket. I'll take the pen. Thank you. All right. No, but you have a very important job. If you will, just stand right here at the edge of the stage. Hold up one finger, put it in that pocket, and stir. And that way, if I was watching everybody exactly the way they put it in there, and maybe I knew someone was at the front or someone was at the back, now they're in a whole different area now. You can go have a seat. I am going to try to identify what name goes with what person. So I'm going to do it by trying to tell if you're lying. So I'm going to take a look at the first name, see if I can tell anything about this. And first thing I can tell is I have to move my eyes to see. All right, and let's see. I'm going to ask each of you if you know this person. And if you know the name, if you know this person's name, then you're going to say no. You're all going to say no. So whatever I say, you're going to say no. that means 2 of you will be telling the truth and 1 of you will be lying. Hopefully I can zero in on who is lying. So let's just start with this one. Do you understand, by the way, do you understand the rules? Do you understand? No, always say no. Always say no. Let's see. Do you know Jimmy? 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 Are you sure you don't know Jimmy? You know how I know you're telling the truth? Because she's lying. You know Jimmy, is that correct? Yes, there you go. Stand up so everybody can see that you are nodding. Very good. And if you'll step on up, Gina it was, right? If you'll take that.
Thank you.
Let's get the other one. Let's go for round 2. I'll tell you what, I don't even want to look at it because people think he knows how each pen writes or something. So I won't even look at this right now. I'll let Mike open it up. Mike, if you'll just open that up and read the name off for me. Robert. All right, so I'm going to ask each of these people if they know someone named Robert. They're going to say no. I'm going to identify who's lying. Do you know Robert? Do you know Robert? Do you know Robert? Do you know Robert? Now she's trying to throw me off. She's trying to throw me off. Yeah, I can't help it. This is how I look. But thanks for coming. So that's okay. I feel pretty good about this. You were trying to distract me, but I believe you know Robert. Is that correct? Yeah, you can tell the truth now. Yes, give her the card. That Robert belongs to you. Now, thank you. The mathematically inclined among you may have realized that I could deduce who the last one belongs to. Maybe it seems obvious. So I tell you what, instead of, what was your name? Brianne, if you'll come to the edge of the stage. No. Just take your card back out. Hold it in your hand as in a fist and hold it up above your head. I'm not even going to look at the name of the person that you've been thinking of this entire time. Think of that person's name. Now, I will ask you this. About how old were you at the time that you remember this kid? 10-ish. So not like first grade. This was old enough to be, almost middle school, late elementary, middle school. And so I guess he was, this is like fourth grade-ish. I guess he was a little shorter than I am. So get down here a little bit and just to try to picture. Did you try to sit by him at lunch or stuff like that when you went to play on playground? All right, think of this kid's name. Out of curiosity, and if I get this right, you're just going to pump your fists in the air and say yes. Are you thinking of a little boy named Patrick? Yes. Give her a round of applause. Oh, she did great. She did great. So this guy pays me to show his Instagram. So just so you guys have a chance to write that down, we'll set that down. All right, my time is running a little long, so we may have to just skip ahead to something, in the interest of time. I told you earlier what a challenge it was for me growing up looking the way that I do. And but you know, there's something to be said for having this sort of nerdy look. It does tend to attract people who want to play jokes on you, though, a little bit. Kick me, or they prank you. They send you fake emails and stuff now. But but magic has been good. All that aside, magic has been good. I've been able to travel the world. I did go to London a couple of times. One time I went. My wife was with me, and we went into this pub. We went to this English pub. It looked, I mean, there were a bunch of old people drinking. It looked just a lot like this in the dark. And there was a piano. It was more of an upright piano, a beat up old kind of like ragtimey looking piano, not a little spin it like this, but there was a piano in there. People at the bar, and except instead of watching a magician, everybody was in there playing. It looked like they were playing Scrabble, because they were all like playing board games and things. And I went to look at the Scrabble board, and they had all the letters out, and they were I couldn't figure out a single one of these words. I was so confused, because it looked like they were all consonants maybe, or there weren't enough vowels, or maybe it was too many vowels. I couldn't make sense of any of it. And I thought, is it Welsh? Are they doing like Old English, Middle English? What are they doing? So I asked this guy, and he said, oh no, my friend. The Old English names in England of all the towns were all specifically written so that if you took any random 7 tiles from a Scrabble set, you could spell the name of some place in England. And I thought Scrabble didn't exist when England was founded in, 1066 and the Battle of Hastings and all that, but he said, well, maybe you just want to bet. And I said, well, maybe I do. I don't know. So I said, well, have you got some Scrabble? Does anyone have any Scrabble tiles? I just happened to bring some Scrabble tiles with me. So here's what we're going to do. I need someone who might be willing to play Scrabble with me right now. Any pro Scrabble players in the room? No? Well then, how about, who's sitting next to Mark? Jenny? Jenny on the end, because it's convenient. Could I ask you to help me just for a minute? You don't have to do anything complicated. Round of applause for Jenny. First of all, Jenny, in fact, you can just come right here to the edge of the stage. You can see that the letters are all different of all the Scrabble tiles. Put them back into the bag, mix them up, just so that she knows beyond the shadow of a doubt that the letters are all different. No doubt about it. Yep. She's checking them out. She's examining them as we go. Once you've got them in there, just shake them up. Shake them up. Fantastic. Stir, stir, stir. If you need help, we got people who are professionals at this. And if you will, reach in and grab out a few tiles without looking and just put them in my hand. I don't know how many this is, but I'll take a look. Ooh, that's a good one. And always good to have vowels. Not good to have too many vowels, but I would love to see a vowel come up at some point. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got more than I needed. So I'll give these back to you. You can put them back in the bag. And give her a big round of applause. You can go have a seat. Thank you very much. Did you see that? You can have a seat. So what we've got here is G.D. Gedifidak. And I'm pretty sure that if you looked in that London book, there would not be a Gedifidak in there. And But what we do have now is Sedifidag, which is it's possible. It sounds a little more. So I looked at the guy and I said, "Is that really the name of a town in England somewhere?" And he looked at me and he said, "I knew what kind of guy you were when you walked in here. I took one look at you." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "See that piano over there?" I said, "What? What do you mean by that?" He said, "Go over there and play your letters." What's the first letter? C. And that's when I knew I had been pranked. All right, there you go. My name's Joe Turner. Thanks for letting me spend some time with you all tonight. You guys were fun. You can go home and tell your friends you got rickrolled by magic tonight. All right, I'm going to hand it off to Mark.
Joe Turner, give him a hand. We'll be back in 10 minutes with Brian Robert.